We're in Seoul, South Korea at Namdaemun Market, the biggest traditional outdoor market in Korea. You can find everything under the sun at Namdaemun, but we are not here to shop. This video is all about eating.
We're taking you on a massive street food tour all around Namdaemun Market. Let's go and find out what there is to eat here.
Namdaemun Market is a well-known street food destination in Seoul. We are going to be eating a ton of street food in this video, and you have to check out what's on offer at this market.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
We're waiting in line for our first snack, savoury hotteok. Hotteok is a type of Korean deep fried donut, which is stuffed with the filling. It is -4 degrees today in Seoul, so this is going to be the perfect breakfast for us. I have got this hot, golden, crispy hotteok in my little hands, and it is a thing of beauty. Look at how crispy the dough is, but it's also still really soft. So you can get both savory versions and sweet versions of the hotteok. This is the savory version, and it's been filled with vegetables. And when he was handing it to us, he actually basted it with what looked to be a type of fruit sauce. So in the pot there was an apple, there were dates, there were peppers, and so I think that's going to give it a really nice tang. I've just got to give this a bite and see what's inside. Wow! So you can see the dough there is really aerated. It's really crispy, really soft, and very light. And then inside, it's just stuffed full with all sorts of vegetables. So I've got onion, there's carrot in there, chives, and also some glass noodles. I'm gonna give it another go. Oh, this is insanely good. It is a must eat. The dough is quite oily, but it's not stodgy at all. And then those vegetables are just really flavoursome. And that glaze that he basted over the top just gives it a nice, almost sweet, tangy touch. This is insanely good.
Next up, we're going to grab an Eomuk, which are these sticks you can see sticking out of the steaming hot broth at this stall. You'll see them all over the market, and they should be good to combat this freezing weather. Alright, I've got the giant skewer of Eomuk. So this is a fish cake, and look at the steam coming off it from this hot, hot broth. Now it reminds me of an intestine from the look of it, but it's not at all. It is just a big, incredible looking fish cake. Let's try some. You can see it's actually, so the reason it's all bendy is because it's a flat fish cake which has been folded over and over and over and then put on the skewer. So that's why it has this bendy look. Let's try some. Oh, it's really soft. Really subtle fish flavor. Really soft fish cake. Not spongy, not rubbery at all. Super easy to eat. Almost like a sodden piece of white bread. Just really soft. Let's try some of the broth because there was a bit of a spice going on there. Oh yeah, the broth is spicy, has a sort of a miso type taste. I don't think it has any miso in it, but it's got an earthiness to it, like there's some sort of root vegetables in there to give it that real base. I come down here, I see there's a whole lot of, looks like soy and chilies, so I'm gonna grab this little paintbrush and paint some of that onto it just to give it an extra kick. So I've just got a thin layer of that chili and soy sauce. Oh, it's a little bit of a sweet soy sauce. So it actually didn't add much spice because there was quite a bit of spice in this. And I see in the broth over there are some big chilies sitting in it. So this has spice, but the soy sauce just added a little bit of a sweetness. This is perfect. Dip it in there, steaming hot, warm you up on these cold days in Seoul.
I've just spotted our next snack over here, mandu or dumplings, both steamed and deep fried versions. Let's go and grab one.
만두도 섞을까요? 이거도? 하지 말고.
The team at this stall are doing a really brisk business. There are dumplings, there's steamed bread, there's buns, and we've just cozied up in the corner of the stall with our little bag of dumplings. So we got some meat mandu as well as some kimchi mandu. This is the meat dumpling, and look how huge it is. So it's a wheat dumpling wrapper or dumpling skin, and on the inside is the meat filling. Let's just give it a big old bite and see what it tastes like. The dumpling skin is quite sticky, almost a little bit gluggy. And then the inside, you can see that it's filled with a really loose pork mixture. There's some chives in there, some onion. As I can taste a little bit of sesame seed, and the pork's actually quite peppery in flavour. That is really good, really tasty. Besides eating dumplings, everyone is also washing it down with little cups of this broth that has come from the Eomuk, so the fish cake, and everyone's holding their hands around these steaming hot cups to warm them. So I've got the kimchi dumpling here, the kimchi mandu. So inside it should be filled with fermented cabbage. So let's give this a go. Alright, so it's not just kimchi. Inside there's some meat as well. So there's some pork, some spring onions, and then you've got the kimchi, which is the cabbage, and there's also the glass noodles in there as well. This is really delicious because it's got a real spicy kick from that kimchi. That is really tasty.
This market is raging with people and there are so many food options. Next up, I want to find one of my favorite Korean street food snacks, TTEOKBOKK. Let's go and find some of that. We have the TTEOKBOKK. So these are rice cakes. So these long, thin, cylindrical things are the rice cakes. And the red orangey sauce that they're covered in is gochujang sauce, which you will find everywhere in Korea. So it should be a little bit spicy and maybe some sweetness. And then we've got some fish cake in here as well. He cut that into it and dumped it all in the sauce. And so that's the same sort of fish cake as I had on the skewer before with the broth. Let's try some TTEOKBOKK. So got one big steaming rice cake. Oh, that sauce has a tiny spice, but it's really sweet. Oh, that's so good. Sorry, it's really hot. That's why I'm just trying to chew it down. I'm gonna have a little bit more. The actual rice cakes are brilliant texture. It's quite squishy, almost like glutinous, almost like it bounces off your teeth. And yeah, then the sauce just has a perfect spice. It doesn't blow your socks off. It's just a perfect little bite. That plain rice flavored rice cake and then that sauce. Let's grab some of this fish cake. So you can see he's cut them up into quite nice little bits. So we've got fish cake also covered in the sauce. Just like before. The texture is perfect, so soft, no chewiness. That goes really well with the rice cake. Another perfect snack and another good little thing to hold on to warm your hands.
Namdaemun Market has a couple of food alleys which are famous for serving particular dishes. We have come to KALGUKSU alley, which is knife-cut handmade noodles, to get a hot bowl of KALGUKSU. Let's go.
noodle, rice, bibimbap, kalguksu. 전부 원하지? Good.
So there are a number of stalls side by side in KALGUKSU alley, and everyone will be vying for your business, grabbing your arm, jostling you, pulling you to come to their stall, but just they're all the same. Make sure you don't get put off and just sit down at one of these amazing looking stalls. There's just fresh kimchi and lettuce and pickles lined up on the counters, and we've just sat down and ordered our KALGUKSU. So this is the KALGUKSU. So it's made up of quite a watery broth. It's an anchovy broth, and then you've got the hand-cut or knife-cut handmade noodles here. They're a wheat noodle, and then there's all sorts floating around. There's some chives, some fish cake, there's dried seaweed in there, there's some sesame seeds, and then there's a dollop of gochujang, or that red pepper chili sauce. So what I'm going to do is just give it a big old mix up and get all those flavors mingling. Let's just try that broth. Oh, so it's an anchovy broth, and you can really taste that strong fish flavor. It's got a really intense hit from that seaweed as well. Let's just give the noodles a go. They look so slippery. They have a lot of bounce, a lot of texture, and they're really good. I'm just going to get a little bit of that fish cake and some noodles. It's a really simple and really clean tasting. It's a really hearty, filling bowl of noodles. Those chives also add a fresh zing. Now, we also got some side dishes. So we got some banchan, so some greens, which think of a bit of chili in there, and then also some kimchi, so the fermented cabbage in the chili sauce. We've got some soup, and it's got some greens in here. And then also this little bowl of naengmyeon, which is a cold buckwheat noodle dish. And it's got some sesame seeds, some strips of cucumber, there's some radish I think in there, or some pear, I'm not quite sure, and then half a boiled egg. Oh, I think there's also some strips of fish cake in there. Let's just give this a go. This is the bibimbap naengmyeon, which is in like a spicy sauce. The buckwheat noodles are really chewy, really thin strands, and then that spicy sauce is a little bit tangy. It's not too spicy, it's quite fresh tasting, especially with that hit of cucumber. This is such a great meal.
We've ordered a bibimbap as well, which is a cold rice dish. This one looks like it's got a little bit of barley in there as well. And we've got an array of vegetables. So I can see lettuce, chives, maybe some pear. There's a whole lot of sesame seeds. There's these big, juicy looking sprouts, or like mung bean sprouts. The gochujang sauce all over there. And then, oh, look at it. Actually, I can't see anything else, so let's do the most important part with this, and that is mixing it up. So I'm just going to grab a spoon as well, and we'll give it a big mix up. Oh, look at all the colors, and you get that sauce sort of coating everything. Break up that rice, and get it all into one. Right, let's go for a big mouthful. So I want to get a whole lot of that rice, a bunch of those vegetables. Let's go. Because the vegetables are all fresh, they have so much crunch. And that sauce almost has an alcoholic taste. It's kind of like spicy but tangy. And it kind of tastes like a really mild whiskey. And then I have another big bite. I've got a huge bit of lettuce hanging off the bottom there. Oh. That was a big bit of lettuce. It's really good. It's more about the sauce and the vegetables. The rice isn't a strong flavor. It's just a nice texture. But the more you mix it up and get that sauce onto all those vegetables, that is a beautiful bowl of food. And I love watching them make this dish because it's all just lined up on this tiny little counter that we're sitting at. And they're just throwing in ingredients, throwing bowls in front of people. Everyone's sitting shoulder to shoulder. This is a really neat experience in Korea.
KALGUKSU Alley was awesome. It was bustling. There was so much going on, but most importantly, the food was delicious. Now we're off to find something sweet.
We've had a good look around for something sweet, but we can't find anything that really takes our fancy. Most of the stuff here is savoury, but as you can see behind us, lots of stalls start setting up at around 4 o'clock. So the lanes of the market are getting much busier now with street carts. So there's plenty of good options all through the day and particularly in the afternoon. But all the ones we had were earlier in the day and they are all absolute classic dishes you will find here at any time. That was one heck of a good day of eating.
Thank you so much for watching. Remember to head down below, hit that subscribe button for heaps more food videos, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Annyeong!
Annyeong!